What's up, YouTube? Daniel back here for another video for the channel. So, I want to share something quickly that I had a conversation about a few days ago and essentially changed my whole perspective on the topic of alignment. You may or may not have heard of that, but I want to basically touch base on it and describe it in a way that has made the most sense for me. Maybe it'll make the most sense for you, and yeah, to touch base on how it's played in my life and also different experiences that I had with it, or lack of it. And yeah, I want to make it quickly before the sun sets. Found a nice little spot on my rooftop. So basically, I've been working with a coach. I've been looking to grow the spiritual side of my life, and essentially, I've realized that the biggest thing that I've always lacked was true alignment. I could think back to many times where I've had the best moments, you could say, in my life, whether it be with relationship with somebody or experiencing some kind of experience that I remember now and wish I was more there. And I never had true alignment in terms of people say alignment is um, thoughts, words, and actions. That's like to align towards a goal. Um, that's one way I've always thought about it. Never really like felt or understood it, but the way I'm gonna explain it to you, maybe it makes more sense. And that is if your mind, body, and soul or spirit are in that moment. So what I've noticed, I've been able to notice more and more as I get older, is my mind and body are very much disconnected in many moments where they shouldn't be. So like you're maybe experiencing something along with a loved one, or you're on a trip, or you're just having an experience, and you're basically, your body is there, but your mind is somewhere in the future. So you're not actually there, and then your spirit as well could be somewhere else in the future. Um, thing with spirit I've realized is that you know it's can lead it to purpose. I've just kind of been, I guess, getting revealed things, but I've been thinking more about the purpose of things, and the spirit and its purpose in everyone's life. And I've come to see that the purpose of your spirit is that it knows where it wants to go and needs to be, but it just needs your mind and body to follow. And that's the one that's the most difficult to align. I think the mind and body are the not the easiest, but the easiest to control in terms of you being grateful and being able to align yourself. And I've seen that true alignment by default is peace. So you have your mind, body, and soul. Those are all three of those all three want to be aligned as much as possible. What actually happens is, you know, I call it the devil. My coach calls it the devil. You can call it whatever you want, but it's energy, and this is basically thoughts that try to deviate you from alignment, which is your default, like peace, alignment, being able to actually experience a moment with everything intact. And what happens is, what stops you from that is the devil playing with you. So things like desire, that's where your mind goes into future tense, and wants is thinking about the goal it wants or what's missing. So it's desire, and that basically think of it like something tugging the energy that you're supposed to be in, which is alignment. So you have that with desire. It could be things like um, you know the desire is one. It's a regret could be another one. Thinking back to the past and things that maybe you're experiencing a moment in which someone was there that isn't there because something happened with that person. So that's like regret, and the devil uses that as well. Um, you could say ingratitude as well. Maybe complaining about something in that moment, um, that prevents your mind and body from actually being there in that very moment. So there's a bunch of different ones. I would say desire is the biggest one, because a lot of people are experiencing a moment. Like for me, for instance, I would experience a moment, but my mind would be so future tense that I would never actually be there. And I've always had basically people comment and say, it never feels like you're actually with us. And that is true, but it's always been something that I've never understood how to fix until I was given, explained alignment in this way. And I was actually, if you don't get this handled, you actually get this reflected back to you. And the example I have with that, I realized this now as I was reflecting, and he told me that was the relationship I had with someone when I went to Mexico. So I met someone in March, and then went to Mexico in April again to see them. And the city was nice. I went to Monterrey, but didn't have the best experience with that person. And the reason why is because me, I myself was getting reflected back, who I was, and essentially two things that I see now that were really off was me. I was chasing something or a perception of someone that that person couldn't be, and number two, I wasn't aligned in terms of me fully wanting to be there in many moments. I thought me traveling would allow me to find alignment because, oh, like I'm in a different place. Every time, currently I live in Canada, and my alignment's a bit off because my body's here, but my mind is thinking, where else can I be in terms of maybe better weather, different culture. These are things that I currently struggle with in terms of being able to control, so I get alignment at least within my mind and body. My spirit, I know also is searching for something else, and that's the hardest one, like I said, to align. But mind and body are the ones I'm working on. But essentially, when I went there, I thought, okay, my spirit has a chance to maybe find alignment here. My mind would, but that actually didn't happen, and my mind started going to maybe another place it could have been. My body, my mind was thinking of that person I wanted that person I was with to be, so projecting someone that she wasn't, and my body was there, and then my spirit was somewhere else as well. So anyways, I got that reflected back to me, and it's pretty shitty. Um, Essentially, I was able to see how people saw me, and I hated it. And now I basically got a mirror in terms of God giving me that lesson and saying, if you don't find alignment or work on this part of your life, then this is how people are going to see the rest of your life. And it was essentially, this person, she was there, her body was there, but her mind was somewhere else, like I say. But it just feels like there's the way to explain it is like you're alone. Like you're with somebody, but the body's there, but the mind and spirit aren't there. So it just feels like it almost feels like a mummy, like someone's just following you, but they're just distracted, and it's the craziest feeling because now I understand what it feels like. And for those struggling with it, just just picture you with somebody, and let's say they're on the couch, but their body's there, but like if they're on their phone or something like that. So it's hard to really explain, but it's the worst feeling because it's almost like they're not giving you your presence, and your presence is the best gift you can give somebody. And this, once again, is me speaking more to me than whoever's watching this. But I'm realizing now that all the moments you look back to, you regret not being fully present for that experience or even that person. There's a lack of respect as well. And it's crazy that I get these revelations as I get, grow more and more spiritually. But yeah, it's something that, if you understand it this way, it's something you can actually work on. If you do the thoughts, words, and actions, it's just more overthinking. You just start to like think, oh, what are my thoughts? And then like, are my actions? So you just already you thinking of what you're thinking about is overthinking in general, and that's the devil. You start to lower your frequency, and people that execute at high levels, they don't think, they just act um, out of faith, out of their spirit, and then they maybe think about it after, have thoughts, but they don't overthink and think like, oh, like do I do this or do I do this? And that's where I have a big issue. But the alignment thing is huge because that's one thing that I've realized I have been able to improve steadily. And like I said, the presence of somebody being there is not the bare minimum, but something that is super undervalued. And I think now in society, a lot of people have the tendency to not be aligned, like the way I mentioned. Like maybe they're somewhere, but they're on their phone, or maybe their mind is somewhere else, and yeah, their body is in a place. So like they're either thinking about the future or the past, and they're just letting life pass them by because there's no alignment. And then the spirit as well, maybe their spirit is somewhere that they haven't gone to yet, and they don't even see that because they're not even spiritually, able to connect with themselves as well. So that's why spiritual connection is so key, because it's one of the three that has to be, tended to as well, because you can have mind and body together, but then if the spirit is somewhere else, that's also not alignment, right? So these are the three that you have to actively begin to recognize within yourself. And you can feel the spirit one. Mind, obviously, it's where your thoughts are going, and then body is where you currently are or whatever you're experiencing. So I want to share this because I think this is something that is, the way I explained it is something you can begin to actively apply and recognize and have a different perspective of how it works in your life. So like, are you currently able to first off experience gratitude? And gratitude is not something you think about as well. So when I felt gratitude, it's something that just comes as a result of you not thinking about the future or the past, just being in the present, not overthinking, which would either cause you to go one or two directions. And it's crazy because, yeah, I felt the most gratitude when I wasn't looking for it. I used to do like gratitude journals and think that would help, but that's just trying to think of gratitude as opposed to feeling gratitude. Gratitude is felt, not thought of, and also gratitude is shown through your action. So, when I felt the most gratitude, I was showing the most action in terms of taking care of my physique, my mind, my body, and just any area that I was working on. And that's when, just doing that, I felt gratitude just kind of overwhelm me. It's a really good feeling as well. You kind of just want to, go to the person that's going to be in the room with you and just say like, hey, I'm really grateful for you. It's a crazy, I've never had that before. It's a crazy feeling. But I essentially wanted to share that because, yeah, alignment is super key. And, if you don't have it and it's something that is haunting you, just know it gets worse. And, you're going to keep missing experiences that your spirit maybe is meant to live, but your mind and body are just somewhere else. So you're not able to really experience that. And I've had one moment, and this is, what me and my coach call the spiritual high. If anyone's watching this, you know what I'm talking about. When you're so connected, and it's almost like it's like your spirit that's living for you. It's crazy that like you don't have no thoughts. It's just feeling and emotion, but you know what to do. Like it's spirit is guiding you, and you don't have to think about the thoughts you have maybe when you're walking down the street of like people looking at you or like stuff that's happening around you. You have to pay attention to. It's like when you're in spirit, everything's taken care of, and the only thing you have to think about are the bigger things, but that's already coming to you. It's crazy to explain. That was a bit more connected to be able to maybe explain it a bit better, but something that I think is huge, and this is something I strive for now in terms of just getting spiritually connected. So going for my morning walk, connecting with God, and it's better than any drug for sure. Any that I've tried, and it's crazy because it's natural. It's a sober thought, sober feeling. Sorry, that just comes from just being connected and you know removing vices, doing the right things, and the right habits. But anyways, wanted to share that about alignment. Hope you guys got some value. Might be a bit difficult to understand, but if you're currently going through a bit of confusion in terms of maybe you not feeling right or being present enough, try to think of it this way of your mind and body and spirit. Understand where your spirit is. That's a big one that a lot of people don't do, especially men. Maybe women are a bit more spiritual. Men, I think now we're searching more for God, but before it's chasing the devil, things like lust, drugs, alcohol, parties. These are all things that the devil uses to, like I said, deter you from peace, right? Like trying to like pull you with lust, desire, vices, like regret, shame. Like these are all things, maybe like depressive thoughts. Like these are all things that he uses in order to not get that alignment, which is the default, which is like your peace. The devil doesn't want you to be peaceful. His whole thing is for you to for him to find a way to latch onto the weakest part of you, that that you'll figure out. It could be lust, it could be food, it could be vices, it could be fear of something, fear of poverty, fear of whatever it is. So people that chase money, that's the devil because they have a fear of poverty. So these are all things you have to begin to feel through your body and your mind. You don't have to worry too much about your mind, but you have to get into your own body and feel where it is and also where your spirit is and begin to align your mind with that. So bit of a different video, something that I want to share because not only helps you guys, possibly it also helps me to further ingrain it into how we have to begin to act in order to really be in alignment with what I'm supposed to be and things like that. So hope this video helped you. If you guys liked it, please like and subscribe. I'll be more coming along. And if you guys need anything else, you can find me on Instagram as well. So anyways, all the best of luck. And until meantime, keep killing it.